Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have another 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Noxus map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 up here in the northeast corner of the map, ending with Team 2 in the southwest. And with 12 players to introduce, I'm going to slow it down to -3, so we have enough time to cover the early action and introductions. Starting off with Team 1's backline player of Matt Lord going first. Sorry, Mad Lord, not Matt Lord going first. Land. He is a Cybran in Rust. He is a 1300 to his west in Ruby Red. We have Nagel going first land as a Seraphim. He is a 1400 going first land to his southwest. We have the Pac-Man yellow player of Wakalek going first land. He is an Aeon. He is in Pac-Man yellow, and he's also going first land. To his southeast in Royal Blue, we have HTTP going first land as a Cybran, and he is a 1200. In Imperial Gray, to his east, another Cybran player in Imperial Gray. It is Solid Snake, best choice for that namesake, going first land again as a Cybran, as a 1600, the highest rank on Team 1, and tied for the highest rank overall. And last player on Team 1 introduced, it is the Regal purple player of AI Adaptive going first land as a UEF. He is a 1500. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 3 Cybran and 1 of each of the remaining factions, being 1 Aeon, 1 UEF, and 1 Seraphim. Starting off with Team 2's backline player in Tropical Ocean Blue, it is Artifacts. He's going first air as a Cybran, and he is a 1400. To his east in Light Oak Town, we have another Cybran going first air. It is Ramper. He is in Light Oak Town as a 1200. To his east, we see Martin H333 or HE going first, second, and third land. He is in Lightish Red Pink, and he is a 1200 as a UEF. To his northwest, the color orange player of Sup 4 Ick going first land as a Cybran. He is an 1100. To his northwest in Chevy Crimson, we have the Aeon player of Signal Runner. He is a 1400 and going first land. Most likely second air, just given that configuration, but we'll just see how he goes on with his build order. And last but not least, there for Team 2 in the southwest direction, we have Kane going first land, second air. He is a Seraphim, a 1600, the highest rank on Team 2, and tied with Solid Snake for highest rank overall. So for Team 2 side of the map, they also have 3 Cybrans with 1 Seraphim, 1 UEF, and 1 Aeon. Both teams have access to all of the factions. And with the introductions out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the reclaim on the map. And for 6 players, we have 250,000 mass. I didn't say 25,000. I didn't say 2,500. You heard it right here. 250,000 mass, which means there's 20,000 mass for each player to scoop up. I am kind of really excited a little bit. That is the most reclaim I have ever seen on a map ever. That is a ton of mass. And with 250,000 mass to scoop up, our players are going to spam out the engineers to scoop up anything and everything they can. And of course, to talk about the map in general with the mass point layouts, we have on Team 2 side of the map, which is the southwest corner, we have 1 quad, 2 quads, 3 quads, 4, 5, and 6 quads, 1 for each of our players to grab, as well as a couple of mass points dotted around the map. There's also a Trimex position in the southeast corner, and I think that's all of the others, couple of backline mixes. But that is a decent amount of mass points to claim. Not really going to be a lot of contention points. There will be 1 up here with the northwest very close together here. And I would say maybe these 2, but I mean, that's not really anything worth it. It's very hard to get to. But just look at all of the rocks or ice rocks, whatever they're called. They're not glaciers because they're not on water. Icicles, I guess icicles. That is, look at it. Look at this. Look how much nonsense. I'll just go in that angle and just sweep around the map. Look at all of this icy rock nonsense to scoop up. A ton of mass to scoop up. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and speed this game up back to 0 and see how our players are spreading across the map. We do see a lot of concerted effort here in the middle here between the frontline players on both teams, trying to grab the middle with a bunch of T1 units and engineers. There's a scout and a nice little mech marine here for Team 1's AI adaptive, trying to get a nice little readout on enemy movements. And he'll probably just post up here. He does look like he's trying to grab in the southeast corner, I think. Nah, yeah, they should be able to move between those rocks here around this little cliff, mountain, whatever you want to call this position. There's also an air scout out to get a nice little early readout on player locations and strategies. Transports are coming out away from the backline players of Team 1 and Team 2 going for this northwestern position. We already see a drop outbound here from Team 2's Kane, going for this upper plateau position. Ton of mass to scoop up there, of course. I'm just going to say a ton of mass because that's 250,000 mass. Takes forever to scoop up, especially when it looks like this. I mean, it's dotted everywhere. I was flabbergasted by that amount. It's already dropped to 238,000, but still, that is going to be a ton of mass for our players to scoop up. And it's going to really ratchet up that eco and really ratchet up how fast players get to T3 and the T4 stage of the game. So we expect to see a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of stuff happen in this game. And we do see a couple of small little units outbound here from Team 2. Signal Runner has a nice little hunter. Sorry, that's a flare, not a hunter. He is Aeon. He is a flare and a nice little spirit. Trying to get a nice little read out what's going on for that quad mechs position. And at this point in the game, I feel like going for mass points is obviously it's important, but getting reclaim is a lot more important. It does look like an engineer was killed off by this tiny little Signal Runner's scout bot. Light assault bot from the flare. It does kill off a Team 1 mechs as well. But in the grand scheme of things, with 250,000+ mass to reclaim, a couple of T1 mechs and an engineer is nothing to scoff at. And it does look like that scout and that mech marine did get past that little avenue, so land units can get through there. Very contested, not congested, not contested, but congested. Going to take a little bit, but another transport out here from Team 1's Rampier going after just whatever he can. Going to drop down here. There is a couple of interceptors running around the map, and an early bomber outbound here from him as well. Interceptors are already on their way to intercept that bomber, and they might get a couple of engineer kills. Oh, does it get spotted? Yes, it does. Engineers scatter, or at least start to build some couple of Team 1 facilities, but we'll drop and take out 3 of those engineers. There are, of course, a couple of Team 1 factories already there. So he's not going to deny any sort of expansion up there, but at least slow it down at a minimum. And now the spread across the map, I am going to speed it up probably just to 2 because it's just a lot of, you got to traverse a 20 by 20 map with a lot of units and reclaim and all of that. So I'll just speed it up a little bit and kind of zoom out. Gun range started here for Wakalik. It is, of course, the better upgrade to start with when you are playing as Aeon, of course, in my opinion. We do see Martin moving in on this valley area down in the southeast. And Rampier looks like he's going to retreat to his main base and assist the upgrade to T2 Air. T2 Air is almost finished off here for artifacts as well. Starting left drone here for Martin. And you're going to go for right pretty quickly. Usually, I find it very rare with UEF commanders if they do build the drone, the assistant drones on their shoulders. They only go for one. They usually build both, and then they just send them out to either reclaim or build something, whatever the case may be. We do see the comm of Sup4Lick, just Sup4Ick, not Lick, kind of just hiding in the water there for a brief moment, cooling off his very hot, like temperature-wise, not attraction-wise, Cybrin ACU. T2 on the way here for Signal Runner in the northwest as well. We do see a drop outbound here from Team 1's Mad Lord trying to claim his quad mechs position. Team 2's Kane has dropped off as well. Going to be able to start expanding over there in the northwest corner of the map. Not a lot of efforts by Team 1 or Team 2 to grab the southeastern corner, except outbound from Ramper. He'll get a nice little base up here. Going to just spam out G1 facilities and ensure that he holds that for the foreseeable future. But now we're starting to get into the stage of the game where T2 and the upgrades to T3 need, at least for the air side of things, need to be prioritized so that you can claim air. As you saw in the last game, I won't spoil it if you haven't seen yesterday's game, but air becomes vitally important in that game. And for those who have watched it, you absolutely know why. And for those who haven't, I would recommend you go watch that video. It's a very great game. Lots of back and forth. Though definitely not one of those kind of I sit there and nothing really happens and I speed it up and then the game ends. But it's very action-packed. We do see a couple of action here between Team 1's Solid Snake and Team 2's Martin. Martin having a nice amount of Team 1 forces. And of course, just so much mass. How much is still on the field? We're down into the 130,000s, which means 100,000+ mass is already being reclaimed at 9 minutes in this game. I'm going to speed it. I'm going to slow down just a little bit. Gun damage and range is on the way here for AI Adaptive. And he's starting to push very similar to what Martin is doing, getting a nice amount of T1 units. Had to sneeze there. You know, you have that, sensation to sneeze and you can't sneeze, and it's like the build-up. Kind of like if you've ever had... Root beer is a very good example of it. You chug root beer a little bit, and you get all that, like, the foam build-up, and it gets to your nose, and like, freaks your nose out. Essentially how it feels. But anyway, we have a small little run-by, not really happening here for Signal Runner, getting a little bit of units by. The majority of the army here outbound from Team 1's Nagel, blocking in sort of pass here to the west. But Team 2's Signal Runner producing a nice little T2 PD over here. We'll be able to establish some sort of foothold. Wakalik is trying to move in and intercept, but that's not really going to happen. We do see Signal Runner having the sensor package on board, so he will see him. And see him coming in very, very quickly here. Wakalik trying to sit out of range, but his forces are nearby. And the forces outby that have just been gifted over from Nagel to Wakalik are now going to be moving in to intercept. Wakalik going to drop into the mid-yellows. And overcharging here from Signal Runner. Doesn't look like Signal Runner will push the issue severely just due to those units that are coming in to assist, but does do a significant amount of damage. T1 bombers are en route to deal with Signal Runner's command and force him in the water. He'll drop into the yellow. And it does look like it'll just be a kind of a net zero here for both of those players. We do see a movement out here from Team 1's Adaptive AI, or AI Adaptive, pushing in against Sup Forlick's front line. But the counterattack has commenced here with Team 2's Martin pushing up against AI Adaptive. He's on an upgrade hanging out nearby and does end up being able to shoot a couple of those strikers that stroll into range. But this amount of force will be able to deal with a decent amount of the infrastructure that's on here on the front line. And there is a nice little radar that I would love to see be taken out. Radar is so important to take out if you can deny intel gathering operations, either from sonar, radar, or scouts or spy planes. You can severely reduce your opponent's ability to respond to any sort of threats that may come from you. But, 2 hit points, just one shot, just a tiny little shot. Just one striker needs to stroll by. Yep, there it goes. And it is killed off. A couple of T2 units trying to stop that incoming threat. Mongoose as well, starting to proliferate that front line here for Adaptive AI. I'm going to call him Adaptive AI, even though his name is the AI Adaptive. It just, I don't know, it just rolls off the tongue a lot easier. But T3 is on the way here for artifacts. T2 is about to be stopped. No, not stopped, but T2 gunships are those Volthus. We built a couple more of those. And then T3 going to be started. T3 should almost be, almost done here for Rampere. How is Team 1 doing? T3 is online for 1 player. Janus are being built here for Team 1's UEF player of Adaptive AI. But that is it. Team 2 will have a slight advantage in the air for the time being. It does look like T2 is also online here for HTTP, and he's going to send his comm forward. I don't know if that's the best play, considering the fact that, it puts him on the front line, and he does divert and go, nah, it's not a good idea. We do see 2 comms here on the front line here for Team 2. One of them, of course, in the water, building a bunch of T2 PD, force back these FAMs. And also some Obsidians. That's going to definitely hamper his ability to fight against those units. And it does look like a lot of conservative effort by Team 1 to force Team 2 Signal Runner back. Transport is underway. Interceptors to stroll on by. He misses them. That is a huge play here by Team 1's HTTP. If he can land safely, he would have been killed off had those interceptors spotted him, but definitely a best opportunity here for him. HTTP does have the laser and gun on board. Kane is nearby with his gun and missile and T2 commander. Kane needs to fall back in the face of that commander. Team 1 bombers are coming in to intercept, and the transport is going to pick him up. He could actually kill him off, but will he be able to pick him up? I don't think so. Oh, he will. He will be able to get away. That is a hot drop, but he's getting killed off anyways. But it's a murder-suicide situation, really. Idiot, says Kane. I don't know what... I think the transport got killed, which means he blew up, which also meant that... Oh, maybe... No! No, I think what happened was Team 1's HTTP control Ks, thereby blowing up the transport, thereby also killing off the commander of Kane. And Team 1 traded a 1200 for a 1600. And that is now a 5v5, 2 comms v1. Remember, not casual. Kane is very upset about that, calling him an idiot. But, I mean, I don't know. It was a very interesting play. I think Kane could have just actually sat on the land and kind of just fell back and been fine. But, I mean, it's now a 5v5 at 14 minutes in the game. Let me know down in the comments if you agreed with that play of HTTP control Kane killing off the transport, thereby killing off the commander, or not, and trading for a 1600. We do see, again, more pushback here by Team 2 on this eastern line. We do see a couple of units outbound from Solid Snake. He has T3 bricks already online, obviously due to, in part, of the massive amounts of reclaim on the map. And it does look like there was an attempt by Solid Snake to grab some sort of foothold over here, but it's just not enough for the amount of spam that Team 2's Rampere has. And he has the southeastern section fully under his control, and is starting to just scoop up anything and everything that remains. The brick is still alive at 100 and some odd hit points. Mantis trying to still stay in range. I don't know if the Mantis will kill him off. Oh no, 25 hit points left on that brick. And it doesn't look like that brick will be killed off, but still it's very weak positioning here by Team 1. It does look like more transport are inbound to support that brick with more bricks. Laser comm more strong than you. Comm 1600 didn't know it. Can't pulling only control K. Still having some words about it here between Kane and HTTP. But it does look like Team 2 has grabbed the southeast corner pretty much, you know, without some issue. There's some issue, but not a lot of issue. 4 T3 mixes push T3 land, 1200 and U. Again, still salt being thrown at one another here. We do see a push outbound here from Adaptive AI down the middle with a couple of Mongeese. Mongeese cannot be this close. They don't have a lot of hit points, very similar to the Hoplites from the Cybern faction. They do a lot of damage, but as you can see, the tickle cannons are very effective against them, and T1 PD. Well, not tickle cannons, they're actually rhinos. They look like tickle cannons. But, I think no, that was one tickle cannon, to be fair. Do you remember how you knew me when you came to me? I took revenge on you for that time. Don't know what's going on with that, but some squabble between the two of them. We'll always go to your godfather together with the godfather of some ally. Again, I have no idea what's going on. Let's you can enjoy that in chat if you can read it. Sometimes it's hard to read it over some of the coloration of the units, but it just happens. We do see Brick still forcing back this line here for Team 2. Martin trying to force them back with some T1 and T2 PD. Needs to get to probably T3 to really force this back. And it does look like those units are now rotating northwestwardly to assist with defensive and offensive measures here against Martin. A couple of units do get by that front line here for Adaptive, but he'll deal with those very quickly with his Mongeese and some brick support outbound from him. It does look like Solid Snake will retain that which what HTTP had. I mean, it's kind of the same line anyways, the same lane. It's just a different approach from it, so it's not that bad. I feel like Adaptive AI could manage this base, but I don't know. It just kind of depends. Call me names. I won't let you report that. What? And it's just constantly back and forth between those two players. Anyway, Martin going for a T3 upgrade. He heard me from the ether talking about Ravagers and went, oh, that's a good idea. But the upgrade will be stopped in favor of just forcing back this brick wall. And a couple of those bricks do try to come in from this little valley ravine. That's more like a ravine. And a bunch of Team 1 spam going to try to force their way to block this avenue of attack. It does look like the bricks are not being dealt with by a whaler outbound from Rampere. And the air grid is being nice and plump here for Team 2's air player. How's Team 1's air player doing? Oh, I'd say about the same. Doesn't look like there's another air player here for Team 1. So Team 2 definitely has the advantage in that regard, with at least a couple players having access to T3 at a bare minimum. So if they need to transition, it's a lot easier to do so rather than having to go from T1 to T2 to T3 and then assist. And all of these units are rotating to come and assist Martin, but now those units from Team 1 Solid Snake coming in and blocking the incoming supply line. And there it goes. Those bricks are just going to run in and take out a bunch of facilities. T3 facility online, not pumping out any units, but going to get a lot of value out of those bricks. There is that whaler inbound. Those look like the whalers like, nah, I can't wait for these bricks to come out of the water. These bricks will now come out of the water and start attacking some T1 Mechs. Front line being very nice and plump here for adaptive AI. Team 1, however, has a claim over the entire northwest corner of the map. So while Team 2 has the southeast, Team 1 has the northwest. And I feel like the Team 2's position is a lot more defensible. There's a lot more natural barriers to deal with. Not really a lot of avenues of attack via land, except just this position or transports. This side of the map, there is a actual land bridged over there, plus hover units across the water. And, I mean, you could put artillery up on the plateau and call it good. So, I mean, it's not as defensible, but Lord lags the signal runner. Don't know what's going on with that, but it looks like Lord's having some connection issues with that. Does look like a game, but this is unplayable, says signal runner. Game is paused and unpaused, unpaused and unpaused. Lord behind, losing orders. Lord is not even reading. What are you waiting for? So it does look like Team 2's complaining that Team 1's player, Mad Lord, has some connection issues, which, I mean, if it makes the game lag, it's not very fun and enjoyable. So I definitely understand where Team 2 is coming from in that regard. We do see those line of units still pushing in against Team 1 on this northwestern side. ASF's holding position over here. What are they doing a lot? It is a 20 by 20, so it's hard to cover the entire map with just one group of ASFs, and there is a secondary group of ASFs here for Team 2 with some Corsairs as well, building up for maybe an attack against Nagel. He has Nano and T3 on board. Pretty chunky calm there. He's at 17,000 hit points. Needs to probably go for the regen ore to really just ratchet up his hit points. T1 PD trying to hold off this T1, T2, and T3 army. We see some mongeese, we see some bricks, we see some T2 pillars. Janus over the top putting everything on fire. That's never feeling good. Nice little spire plane to get some vision on board, but Corsairs are inbound to assist with defensive measures, going after the Perseus and the mongeese, the longer range units, and going after the flak. Corsairs fly in, take out a couple of the hit points, and I think one of the Corsairs, but a lot of those offensive units, those ground units, are taken out. At least offensive in ground to ground versus ground to air. Those bricks still sitting in the water hanging out. Neither of them have veterancy, so they can't regen hit points. But those look like the brick threat has been dealt with, and the whalers are running around the map dealing with any sort of remnants of Team 1's Solid Snake's forces. He's building up some AA to be able to defend against those. And the whalers are going to face an annoying amount of ASFs coming in to kill them. I think the ASFs from Team 1 might engage. At least the ones out from Rampier. We have 3 groups of ASFs, which is, again, a map this size, huge for being able to deal with air threats very, very quickly. The ASFs outbound from Team 1's Mad Lord will be taken out, or at least forced back. AA is right next door, so some losses will be incurred by Team 2. But all of the ASFs are gone. Team 2 has air control at a minimum. There are more ASFs over here, but there's just so many groups of them. Multiple players can cover air in different regards and in different places. Experimental is online here for Team 2's Suphoric. Nano Repair Advanced going on the way here for Nagel. We do see that attack that's been brewing for a while now coming into this base in the northwest. In the direction of northeast, but whalers are now on station to try to assist with measures in that regard. There's not really a lot of T3 support. I think there was a shield in there at some point. There's an obsidian in there. There's, of course, those nasty little Ilshis. There's some flak in there as well to help assist with that. This base will be fine for the most part. T3 land headquarters will be perfectly fine, but it's just more of an annoyance tactic. The left side of this position has already been cleansed of rust units and structures, so Team 2 can easily drop some units down there and start securing it. We do see now those bricks rotating back over here to try to force back Martin. But Martin's not going to give up. He has some Ravagers now, and that's not really going to do a whole lot if those units from Team 1 move in from over here. Monkey now going to try to sandwich them against the cliff side here. That's not going to feel good. Monkey now going to rotate, essentially forcing the units either eastward to engage the Ravagers or force them northward to engage the Monkey. The Monkey now going to cut off any sort of escape and kill off the rest of these T3 forces outbound from Team 1. The Ravagers, I mean, they just do massive amounts of damage very quickly and have huge amounts of range. No way that those units are going to come in and assist. And now Martin going to come in and try to push back. Though it's think on this. Oh, what the heck happened there? This east side. He does have a couple of bricks and a lot of AA and a couple of PD, but he's just going to retreat. He's building a Monkey Lord as we speak. ASF over the top to protect here for Team 2. And the Monkey Lord again will continue to press. Brick getting a decent amount of value coming in at the back end of this army, but the Monkeys is just going to help push. Going to avoid this attack vector and go through the other way. Transport is out and going to drop off the comm of Solid Snake back to his main base. And now we see the game has kind of lulled a little bit, which when that happens, we speed it up just a little bit. We can get back to the glorious action that is FAF. And a couple of bouncers take out a Corsair flying over top. Corsair is trying to assist and force us back. And the land army gifted over to Subphoric so he can micro both the T1 and T2, a couple of T3, and the T4 Monkey a lot more effectively. I love that play from Martin. Then he can go back to, manage something else, either his eco or T3, expansion or whatever the case may be. I love that play. Love that play outbound. It does look like those forces will just retreat. It's not really worth it. I mean, there's a bunch of bricks, but all the regular forces in terms of 1, 2, 3 tech will be taken out. There is an attack here in the west, outbound by a chicken out from Signal Runner. There's a lot of just Othams sitting here that could easily engage the chicken, but they're being controlled by Nagel, and he's not sending him in. A bunch of T1 spam, forcing the chicken to move. Great play outbound here from Kalek, be able to keep the chicken on just its feet. We have some sniper fire from these Ushha'as, but sniper bots. They're just sniper bots. And does look like that chicken will retreat. It had a great engagement, but the T1 spam artillery definitely forced it to move at least a little bit. And now that gives a little bit of time for more defenses to be constructed. But chicken is still going to hold strong, dealing with most of those units at range. And the Othams will be forced to engage, at least if they decide to, or if their commander decides to send them in. But Nuke is... Well, hold on. 25 minutes in the game, we have a Nuke. Where's this outbound from? Team 1? Yep, it's outbound from Team 1 Solid Snake. And where is it going? It's going for this frontline facility. And honestly, I don't know if that was the call. This SMD is down. Could have gone for the rear. Is there another SMD online? There's one back here. That one's almost loaded, but might not be loaded in time. Everything else is unshielded by SMD. I feel like the Nuke could have been used in a better place. I mean, the air grid would... Well, I don't know. That one wouldn't have loaded. And kaboom! Yeah, that Nuke would have killed anything on the map, but decided to take out the front line. When there's a line of T3 and a Monkey Lord right here that this army cannot engage with, I just kind of questioned the Nuke usage. You see the SMD still wasn't loaded. SMD is now officially loaded, so that air grid would have been most likely protected. And that air grid would not have been and would have landed. And now we see the separation, the decentralization of air grids here by artifacts. So there's no cascade nonsense against him if it so does occur. We see that chicken here does fall back and going to move over here to the other side of this nice little pond. Looks like a Batman symbol with that's like the little ears and then the two. Wow, that does look like the Batman symbol. Look at that. Wow. Anyway, does look like Team 1's Mad Lord recolonizing this northwest section of the map once again. I hear chicken fire. Shooting at something, and the chicken's just going to be launched at Team 1 over here on the other side of the little Batman symbol. And it's just looking like it's just going to slow down once again. I am running at +1. Now I'm running at +2 because there's really not a whole lot going on here for the game besides just random attacks left and right. A squadron of whalers are online coming in to intercept the chicken. The chicken will be killed off by the whalers, unfortunately. We'll try to get back in the water, but the whalers are shoved off. The ASF come in to try to take them out, but they've already retreated. I mean, they might have been able to take it up, but there are some flak coming in to assist the chicken, so I can see why there was some hesitation in that regard. There is an attack here from the Monkey Lord with a bunch of support outbound from Supforic. And now we have a counterattack here from Solid Snake pushing back this eastern line once again. But Martin has a bunch of T3 Ravagers with an SMD to protect himself and a bunch of T1 PD and building more. And Percy's lining his base there. Team 1 has not made any attempt to go after the southeastern corner. I mean, a couple of gunships could easily take out most of this. There's a T3 AA position there, but we could take out the Omni down there, the Olympus T3 Omni sensor array. Megalith is online here for Solid Snake. And the nuke, how's that doing? Well, killed off 13,000, almost 14,000 mass. Not a bad nuke, but definitely could have been placed elsewhere. And I don't see much of anything else besides this engagement that's possibly happening. I don't know one way or the other. The Megalith's going to lead to the charge, it looks like, but just kind of sit there. And again, I thought we were going to have some nice action, but then it just slowed down again. See, the Megalith is starting to engage, and those units will be forced back. Lots of flak, forcing anything and everything in the air to just retreat. And that Megalith spearheading this nice little brick wall here for Team 1, and a force back Team 2's army. It does get out of range, but it does look like it's going to fall back and maybe help assist with this push over here to the east outbound from Solid Snake. He has another experimental. It is a monkey going to help lead those forces. But there is a Megalith online here for Supforic, so it's going to be a monkey and a crab versus a crab from Team 1. And, of course, there's a chicken over there. Sorry, a monkey over there. How did the chickens do over here to the west? Well, that one that was in the red's now back in the yellow. Trying to halt this counterattack outbound from Wakalik. He has a Colossus leading that attack. But there is a severely weakened chicken that can easily go after. The Colossus goes, nah, I probably shouldn't attack that. And there is a nice little PD base on the other side of the Batman symbol there. The Corsair's dealing some damage here to the Colossus. Colossus getting ripped to shreds from behind by both of these chickens. The chickens have done significant damage where I don't think one of them will die in this engagement, at least against the Colossus. And now, it's not looking good for this Colossus, for this tall experimental. There it goes. It is dead. I wasn't say in the water, but near the water. And a ton of Optims are outbound here from Team 1. This chicken here from Team 2's Signal Runner will retreat. And this one here as well will start to retreat and force these units to come further and further in. There's a couple of PD, a couple of TMD as well to help defend. The chicken going to fall back at least underneath shield coverage. Be able to get a decent amount of boost in hit points just from the shields. But there's some strap bombers outbound here from Adaptive AI coming after that chicken that's severely weak. They are ambassadors, and they're the UEF variety. 2 of those bombs land. ASF's coming in to meet those strap bombers. 2 more gonna land, gonna miss, at least slightly. And 3,000 hit points still remain on board that chicken, or the Yothotha is at least how I pronounce it. Megalith is down here in the east from Team 1. And that crab and monkey lord enough to suppress that incoming attack. The counterattack now on the east going to start to materialize here from Solid Snake. But the brick line has fallen. There's a bunch of Percy's coming in to supplement, but it's not going to feel good when there's 2 experimentals bearing down them on that west-east side. You see grouping up of units here in the northwest as well from Team 1. But at 31 minutes in the game, Team 2 has a nuke. It is online but not loaded. Are there any sort of other measures to end the game? Of course, at 30 minutes, let's go ahead and take a look at stock for our players. Team 1 at 2.7k mass income. Team 2 at 2.6 mass income, which is a ton at 31 minutes. Team 1, of course, has 5 players left. Team 2 has 5 players left as well. Both teams at about 50% map control. I'd say slightly give it to Team 2, but ever so slightly. So maybe like 51-49. And I mean, it's just the ecos, just due to the fact that the reclaim started with 250,000. We're still at 100,000 reclaim on the map, and that's due to mostly units, essentially. I don't think there's any, might be a kind of odd end rock or 2 that's still existing, but besides that, all of the original reclaim has been scooped up. And we can take a look at the values here. 246,000 for Team 2, 234,000 here for Team 1. So about almost 500,000 mass, 500,000 mass has been scooped up at 31 minutes. And of course, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win this game. Please, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share this video with anyone, everyone, especially your pets. And of course, thank you for watching to this point in the video. And I encourage you to continue to watch to the end of it. We do see tickle cannons being lined up here by Team 1 to defend against all of this incoming force. Percy's and Megaliths intermixing here for both teams to supplement those forces and attack power. But with a Megalith full health and a monkey still in the green, this is a lot of damage that can be wrecked or by wrought here by Team 2. And the crab focusing the Percy's as it should. That is the more dangerous of the two units. Strat bombers over top going after the Monkey Lord, but there's AA to protect it, or at least take out the ASFs, not ASFs, but the bombers that do come in range. Slow-mo games as Rampair. I mean, it's a little slow-mo because so much was built up in the early stages. And now we have the first ASF fight of the game between Team 1's airplay of Mad Lord and the ASFs from Artifacts. And now the ASFs of Rampair have joined, at least kind of, going after the whalers that were attacking that Megalith. And now it's just an intermix of 3 different ASFs. We have more outbound from Solid Snakes, and we have 4 ASFs groups and 5 ASFs group hit from Adaptive AI. Just a couple of them, but it does make the difference. All we need to have is Team 2's Signal Runner coming in. It's all of the air players just intermixing here. It does look like it's going to net a victory here for Team 1. There was a lot of ASFs that died in that engagement. But Nuke is loading here halfway to another one. Laser started here for Solid Snake. And do we have any other spicy plays here for Team 1? Another Nuke online here. This is for Kalik or Wakalik, depending on how I want to pronounce his name. Artillery is online here for Team 1's Nagel. And that is the Hubbatham. Do we see any other sort of spicy plays? Lots of P-Gens. Don't see much of anything else. So 2 nukes and an artillery online here for Team 1. Kind of surprised to not see any Novaxes yet. We do see some advanced combat preset commanders outbound from Nagel, but that's being assaulted by that crab. That's not going to feel good. Tons of mass to scoop up here just due to that ASF fight. I want to see how much the total is. That is the wrong thing that I clicked. 200,000 mass, 100,000 of it, or more than that just right here. The ASFs from Team 2's Signal Runner aren't really there because he doesn't really have any. He was an air player, but the main ASF force is the 2 backline players of both Ramper and Artifacts. We do see a drop here from Team 2 as Martin up here to this upper plateau, taking out everything up here, and there's nothing to really defend against it, so this will be a nice net positive here for Team 2. And missile spam just going to perfect here against Team 1, taking out any and all defenses. Couple of these zappers are coming online. They do notice that the Megalith is being constructed right there, so they probably should push a little bit further. But the artillery is starting to be deadly here against Team 2. At least I thought it was. I don't know what it's targeting, but it's targeting something. What is that artillery targeting, I wonder? Targeting down south? I don't see... There's an artillery started here for Team 2. Artillery started also here for Subphoric. There is a monkey that just finished off. I don't see where that artillery is firing. Well, there's the shot. It's inbound. Coming after the air grid. That's what it's going after here for Team 2's play of Rampur. I mean, I feel like Artifacts would definitely be the one that I would go after. It's a bigger air grid. More chance of your shots landing. And he's going for artillery, same as Rampur. But at least the shields aren't really that great here for Artifacts. For Team 2 and hitting you. Conversation between the 2 air players. We do see some attacks outbound here coming after the frontline forces and defenses here for Kalik. It doesn't look like Team 1's going to be lose this position here due to the fact that Team 2 is not pressing the issue, but the reclaim is the bigger issue here. Both teams need to scoop that up and make it useful for them. 3,000 mass income here for both teams. Just it's a lot of mass, and that's not Paragon. That's not a lot of. That's not Rascoms. At least not a lot of them at the current moment that I'm looking at. That's just mass fabs and a whole bunch of T3 mexes is essentially what that is. We do see in the west, once again, 2 chickens line up. There's actually a chicken and a Colossus, excuse me. That Colossus is defended. And a chicken emerges from the water. And now we see another chicken emerge from the water. So 3 chickens. Now going to just pincer maneuver this attack or just kind of encircle it. And lots of firepower. Some of those Othams are pushing in to engage the chickens, falling away from the main defenses here. Colossus is online, severely wounded though. Looks like there was a fight earlier on, but the 2 chickens and the Colossus will engage that Colossus. Colossus will die without doing any meaningful damage, unfortunately, and there it goes. There goes all the hit points, and it crash lands. We have bombers over the top here for Team 1's Mad Lord going after that chicken over here. Some of them do miss, but some of them do land, and the chickens will now engage this force outbound here from Wakalik. What are you doing with it, says Rampier. Don't know what he's in reference to. I'm at negative 3,000. Well, what are you doing with it? Oh. Well, he's building a teleporter. That's what he's doing with it. And he's gating in a couple of SACUs, those RAS preset commanders. He's building a teleporter, but I wonder if he's going to use it. We'll see. We'll see if he ends up using it. We do see the attack start to materialize here for Team 2 once again. They fall back by using the Megalith for their longer range. Fat Boy looks like it was killed off by Team 1, but the Monkey Lord was killed off here by Team 2. And that will be in the hands of Team 2's engineers here pretty shortly. We do see a Continental with some units on board. Shield is down. Will it drop in time? Yes, it does. Drops all 4 of those Percys. Going to start taking out the AA up here on this upper plateau. We do see some gunships trying to be taken out by the ASFs from Solid Snake. Those get taken out. Telly says Signal Runner. Is he gonna telesnipe? What's he doing? He has it on board. He's just not gonna use it. I do agree with having access to it when you obviously you'd rather have it, not need it, not have it. But you built it. You might as well use it at least for something. And it does look like just a bunch of gating in of SACUs here for Team 1, Team 2, depending on what they want to use them for. Offensive presets or RASCOM presets. Percy's just wreaking havoc on those defenses up top. All those engineers trying to spam up some T1 PD, but it's just not really going to mean a whole lot. Those look like all the AA has been taken out. T1 PD wrecking shop against these Percys. They need to target the defenses, but they're not. We do see some T3 artillery mobile, in fact, from these trebuchets going after the Percys. Percys, I don't know what they're targeting. They're targeting all of the AA, it looks like, but they're missing the T3, not the T3, but the T1 PD. Does look like they take out all of the engineers except 1 PD. Taking out those T3 Myrmidons. There is a facility up here to the north that maybe they're going for. They take out that last T3 AA. ASF's over the top here for Team 2, and some bombers are inbound. And the ASFs will engage once again, but Team 2 will get not really it's actually Team 1 will get the non-space engagement. What happened here? Looks like Martin just control K'd. I don't know if that was, I don't think that was PGen related. No, there's no PGen wreck. Looks like he might have just control K'd because of connect. Nice snipe, says Martin. Don't know. I mean, maybe, but I didn't see any PGens there. Huh. Weird. Anyway, that is a loss of a player here for Team 2. Now it is 5v4 in favor of Team 1. Yeah, I don't see realistically any PGen wrecks or any sort of things that would indicate explosions like that. 40 minutes feels like hours, says Signal Runner. They're not even at, I mean, it does say 40 minutes, but it doesn't feel like it. Nuke is outbound, this time from Team 1 once again, going for this position with a bunch of Megaliths that are retreating. Maybe he'll be able to, pinpoint the exact location of them, where they're going to land based on when they're moving. But ASF shouldn't sit here. They're all going to die to that nuke. Does look like they are going to move out of range. And the Percys will move in and try to secure the rest of that reclaim. The Megaliths, I mean, they're going to be in range of that nuke, but I think one of them will die. Oh, maybe. One of them will die. The second one will take a ton of hit points damage, but at least he's still alive. It's better than nothing. So that nuke kills off 51,000 mass artillery. Now ramming in from Team 2. I think that's artillery. Yep, that's artillery out from a disruptor. That disruptor isn't really even being focused. Team 2, what are you doing over here? Just gating in a bunch of SACUs. I see it. That's really... It hasn't teleported as of yet, but maybe he will soon. Again, usually you build it at the late stages of the game, and maybe he just wants to have access to it sooner rather than later. But Monkey is forcing its way forward against these bricks, and it does look like it will take out most of them. And that's not going to feel good for that bricklet. There already is an army there, but you can't see it. Says Signal Runner. Finally, years too late. Does look like the chickens are having some trouble here with the just onslaught of units coming up from Team 1's combined forces of Nagel and Wakalek. And still the artillery is raining in here from Team 1. Looks like he gets some engineering drones here from the UEF ally. Got one artillery. Is there any other artillery here for Team 1? They have that nuke. They have a Maver that's being built by Team 1's Solid Snake. Very interestingly, that could really shake things up here for them if that is able to be completed. But it does look like the ASFs for Team 2 outnumber those of Team 1, which means Team 2 has air control. I wouldn't say dominance as of yet, but I would definitely say air control at a minimum. And the crab is still able to target that chicken just barely. Facility in the water. Don't know why that was there, but it's there. And the chickens have come back to roost, but multiple Colossus are inbound for that Megalith. Let's see if the laser on board those Colossus are able to shoot with its head barely sticking out of the water. Chicken is able to fire its gun. Yes, it does. Just it just barely does. And it does look like these Colossus will force back this Megalith. Large number of bricks sitting at the edge of the water. They need to get in it and start using their missiles on board those units. But there's multiple chickens coming in. Chicken does get taken out. And a line of PD for defensive measures as well. Too shallow, says Rampere. Yep, it's a little bit too shallow. But they're still able to fire at least at some degree. Multiple shots outbound from those chickens. Multiple chickens are severely wounded. Will Team 1 use this opportunity to push back? They have a lot of sniper bots. They could do that. Artillery now raining in on this position outbound from Team 1. Trying to target the Fat Boy. Fat Boy hasn't moved. That should definitely move. But I still don't understand. It was definitely a Control K from Martin, but it was really nothing. There's a couple of Ravagers, and there was a shield generator, but that's it. I don't know what that was about. Because the Strat Bombers were killed off, and then he exploded. I hear it. Where is it? Where is it? I hear it. Where is it? Hold on. Hold on. I hear it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. There it is. I found it. It does look like it's going to take out all those bouncers. Oh, that's got to hurt. All the AA wiped out in one fell swoop. Outbound from Team 2's Signal Runner. There she is, the beautiful Awasa Bomber. Going to start ripping everything to shreds. The ASFs do move in to try to intercept. We'll see how that ends up going for them. How's the nuke and whatnot going down here? Not really actually being focused. I don't know what he's focusing, but we'll see. He's going to build a disruptor here pretty soon. That one's going to be completed. And then the second one's going to be started here pretty soon. The chicken and Colossus emerge from the water. They'll be able to take out that crab. The chickens. The bricks coming in to assist, but it's a little too out of range. And it will do some damage to the Colossus, but the second will peep its head out of the water, use its suction arms to take a couple of those bricks hostage. And the Awasa Bomber going to come in and just solidify that. Oh, dropped its bomb a little bit too far away, I'd say. Oh, the ASFs are coming in. Will they take out the bomber? Some of the ASFs are killed off in the explosion. ASFs are getting in behind that bomber. It does look like it's going to be an air fight. Oh, maybe. Oh, there it is. ASFs do intercept one another. And there it goes. The ASFs from Team 1's Madlord are being ripped to shreds, as well as the Whalers. Whalers targeting, of course, the experimentals in the water. Colossus makes it out of dodge with just 2,000 minus hit points. A little less than 2,000 hit points. What a relief, says Rampere. How was that Megalith? How is that Maver doing? It's in the yellow, about to cross over 50% completed. And artillery still raining in. Second artillery is underway. Third and fourth also going to be started here pretty soon. There for Team 1, going to ratchet up that. Another nuke in the backline here, this time for Madlord. 3 nuke silos are online, and they are loading. Team 1 just going to start nuking the place here pretty shortly. Team 2 only has the one nuke that I've noticed. And as we speak, the nuke gets loaded here by Team 2's artifacts, and that is a ton of support for that nuclear launcher. Look at this thing. It is just blazing up very quickly. Look at all the engineers. Load them. They might as well just build an Awasa at this point, as much engineers and whatnot you have on board it. Well, you might as well just build a Awasa. Not an Awasa, sorry, a Yolo, not an Awasa. That's the bomber. Heavy shield started here for Wakalek here in the northeast underneath a nice little pond, or in a little pond. Artillery now raining in on this position. Artillery still raining in. Second one is done here for Subphoric. And that air grid still underneath shield coverage. The attack is outbound here from Team 1's purple player of Adaptive AI, but it gets caught by multiple players by Team 2. The position that's already was here for Subphoric and multiple engineers. Not multiple, multiple experimentals. And this, oh, that bomb's going to hurt. That's a lot of Percies that are going to die to one bomb. Oh, he killed off a ton of mass there. All of those T3 units dead and gone. Oh, that's got to hurt. 66,000 mass killed on board that bomber. That's a ton of stuff that was killed off. And now this position is just getting more and more defensible by the moment. To the northeast, something dies, and that's Adaptive AI. He notices all his Percies die, and that is it. And just the AoE explosions from both the artillery and the comm kill off half of that production grid. He does have a T3 air facility as well. That'll be gifted over to Solid Snake. How's that Mavor doing? Well, it's in the green. It might be completed to the first T4 game ender. And the Whalers wailing on this SACU preset, being chased by some Colossi. Or actually one Colossus, excuse me. And it does look like this western base has been knocked out due to a nuke. Yeah, it looks like it was nuked. And also kaboom, I should say. Awasa bomber coming in, taking out more of those T3 bots. T3 bots trying to scatter to get out of range. Some of them will be killed off, unfortunately. There they go. Half of that force has been reduced to ash. An ASF fight once again, but Team 1 still lacks the numbers, which means it's just gifting more air control / dominance to Team 2. Artillery still pumping out. Nuke is on the line, and Solid Snake control K's going, this is done. I can't handle it anymore. And now it is a 4v3 in favor of Team 2. Artillery raining in. It looks like the Mavor was killed off. That's gotta hurt. Looks like it was killed off, I guess, by some teleportation nonsense right here for some SACUs, because this is the only thing that was killed off. Let's see, am I right? Oh, yeah, a couple. Looks like there's one of them at least. Looks like it was a Aeon one. Looks like it was an Aeon one by the looks of it. That has got to hurt. The Mavor has been knocked out. Another nuke is launching here from Team 2's Pseudo Yolo with the amount of assistance that he's just pumping into that thing. Again, just get some Seraphim engineers, build a Yolo, and call it good. I mean, it's going to cost a lot, but when your team has collected almost 500,000, like say 470,000 reclaim, and the other team's collected 500,000, I mean, that's half the reclaim. Multiple artillery shells landing onto this base here for Team 2 Subphoric. There is multiple artillery positions here, and a nuke about to finish loading. Vibrant, shields are starting to fail. Lands, takes out a decent amount of the ASFs flying over here for Nagel, and the defensive line clears the way for ground forces to move in. 45 minutes on the clock. This is not looking good here for Team 1. Multiple lanes are being denied defenses. Multiple units being thrust to defensive measures, but Nuke lands over here, tries to take out some units over here from Team 2. I think he takes out a couple of them, and some of them have been EMP'd. It's just not looking good here for Team 1 on the ground side of things. No, it's just the amount of what's the income? Team 2 at 3.9k. Team 1 is still at 3,000. They haven't been ecoing as hard as Team 2, and it definitely shows it just due to the fact that, I mean, it's almost 1,000 more mass in about 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. Another nuke launches here. He's going to build a Scathis, because why not, with some assistance from his teammate of Rampare. Love to see that. I hardly see multiple players going for one game ender like this. Oh, but the nuke is taken out. That's got to hurt. I don't know if it was loaded or not, but either way, that's got to hurt. ASF's moving in, gonna just airlock Team 1 at this point. Multiple strat bombers as well coming in to take out anything on the ground. There's a ton of T3 AA just scattered around the map here for Team 1. 3 artillery now online for Team 1 as well. That's a lot of firepower, and they're focusing it on the T3 artillery down here for Sup. Sup is receiving a lot of the pain, but Artifacts is huge base, multiple air grids, multiple facilities, and Wakalek will just control K and gift everything over. He does have a nuke loaded. He could launch it, but he's just going to control K. Wow, sped up, says Rampir. It just looks like, oh, the game isn't lagging as much. It was -2, says Martin. Yeah, that's got to hurt. -2 definitely would just trudge the game on. I mean, minus anything hurts, but I mean, 2, 3, 4, it just hurts. I mean, FAF has done a lot of improvements with especially ASF combat and all that. It used to just, anytime the large groups of ASF either flew around or, you know, just flashed with one another, it would just lag the game. You're like, okay, let's just sit here and let me go grab a drink, go to the bathroom kind of thing. But they've done a lot of performance improvements. I was looking for the word in the game, so makes the game a little bit more enjoyable to both cast and to play. Nuke is outbound. It's going probably for this position. SMD still on. Actually, it's online, but isn't loaded. And this position will get taken out here for Sup. And ASF are flying around. Hopefully none of them catch a stray nuke to the face. And the nuke is going to keep going back for this base back here. No, it's going to land right here. Both of those artillery pieces and the third one being constructed will be up in smoke. Kaboom! Takes out all 3 of them. Leaves 1 Pigeon alive. But now at 48 minutes, it's now Nagel and Mad Lord versus the World here from Team 2. You never even, you have laser and teleportation and T3, and you still haven't used it yet. Counterattacks going down here from Nagel, but I mean, with a fat point, a bunch of T3 Percies, that's not really going to do a whole lot. Unfortunately, nuke right here, almost loaded. Nuke right here is loaded. Launch the nuke. Point defense nukage against these experimentals. You can kill a decent amount of them, at least 2 or 3 of them. Drop bombers landing in, going to take out the SMD coverage. Nuke is outbound. There it goes. Nuke is going to launch. Point defense nukage is online. And Nuke outbound hit from Artifacts. Someone should tally how many nukes have launched so far this game. There it goes. It's going to impact. It's going to take out at least 1 of the chickens and a decent amount of the spy plane. Oh, maybe not spy planes. There they go. It's a little bit too forward back, but takes out 2 of the experimentals at a minimum. And the third one is in the yellow. But there's multiple chickens, you know, going straight for that artillery. Multiple sniper bots as well as Percy's trying to delay the chickens. Another chicken is taken out. Colossus might even take out the Fat Boy. That's not going to feel good. Chickens trying to rush for those T3 artillery replacements, but a ton of strat bombers outbound from Lord take them out. And the Colossus, will it take it out? 11,000 hit points and dropping. Oh, it's going to be close. Gets a rank in veterancy and kills off the Fat Boy. That Colossus isn't going to survive very long. Second chicken will get taken out. Nuke over here to the west takes out 4 T3 mechs and a bunch of other infrastructure. Just reducing the amount of income here for Team 1. Team 1 dropping to 2.6 versus Team 2's 4K. And the Scathis is online. Scathis, this says Matt Martin. I can talk and spell or pronounce. Looks like it's focused on the air grid here for Team 1. Once the air grid is down, that's it. They don't have any sort of ASF. Satellite has been constructed. I'm surprised that the Maverick didn't get reclaimed, like didn't get fixed or rebuilt, but I guess efforts for something else. I guess that actually those probably went to the T3 artillery. But there goes the air grid here for Team 1. It's done and dusted. Nuke Silo doesn't have anything loaded. Is still loading. Has killed off 158,000 mass. This one has killed off 55,000 mass and has a nuke loaded. The Awasau bomber also got taken out by the ASF and AA with massive lines of, what is that, PD? Massive lines of, no, that's artillery. T2 artillery going to be spammed up here by Nagel to force back Team 2. But the artillery still raining in, doing a decent job. Now poking at the air grid here for Rampira. But does Team 1 know about this? They know about the nuke. They know about the artillery, but that's it. This is a huge gold mine of just cascade, even if it's separated like this. But look at that. Scathis isn't even spotted. And that just might be the downfall here of Team 1. So much mass still on the field. Obviously, it's accruing by the minute. 564,000 mass on the field. 500,000 mass. And climbing. Just a ton of mass. A ton of it. to scoop up. That might be my intro for the videos. Actually, no, because it's essentially will be in the intro, to be fair. But Scathis Fire raining in as well. Gonna wreck everything sooner rather than later. ASF trying to airlock. Team 1 doesn't really have a lot of air producing facilities. They have a couple of air factories, but that's it. They don't have much. And the air forces here from Team 2 are just too numerous. It doesn't even matter. Artillery does break through the shielding and take out that air grid here for Rampur. But this is the main concern now, is just this air grid. There's a Al-Wasab bomber being constructed here by Signal Runner. And it's just not looking good here for Team 1. Just losing all of what they have. Massive amounts of T3 and a couple of T4 experimentals just coasting on through. They should be turning in eastward here pretty shortly. We have some lightning tanks taking out some air. A couple of Colossi. Nuke is launching. And the artillery has broken through the shield and taking out one of the artilleries. 3 more still online. More shields going to be built up. And a Scathis, as I mentioned, is going to be built. But I don't think it's going to finish. It's half done. Nuke is outbound. Let's see where it ends up going. Nuke is still loaded here for Team 1. Second nuke in the back line is loaded. They have access to 2 nukes. They could take out a lot of these units outbound from Team 2, but they're just not going to. Tons of T3 SACUs trying to build that Scathis. They're not going to build it. You might as well divert to T2PD or something. It's just not going to be enough. Can you give me some masses, Nagel? No, that's not going to be. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. And Scathis just fire raining in constantly. This is the last hope for Team 1, but it's not going to be a hope for very much longer. Megalith and Colossus coming into range, and the Monkey also in range. Got to target the P-Gens. Best bang for your buck. There goes 1. There goes 2 and 3. And it looks like that's it. The T3 artillery is done for Team 1. They have 2 nukes. One of those nukes is launched here by Nagel. The other one for Mad Lord can be launched. He does have 3 satellites online. But again, the Scathis Fire is constantly raining in. All this could be a nice little cascade explosion with these SACUs. Oh, it's not going to feel good. Looks like everything's just going to the back of the base here for Team 2. Colossi raining in. Chicken raining in as well. SMB is down. SACUs are not going to scatter. Whatever bombers can just throw whatever they can at the opponent, that's what they're going to do. And at 52 minutes and 53 seconds on the clock, Team 2 is definitely in the driver's seat for this game. Satellite over top. Don't know what they're doing. Explosions do occur. Those are SACUs. 2K income, says Martin. Yep, that is artifacts. 2,000 income, and Mad Lord had 3,000. Is that reclaim related? I think that's reclaim related. That has to be reclaim related. Yeah, that has to be reclaim related. There's no way it's... Yep. No, yeah, that's reclaim related. There it goes, 1.2. That is just a ton of mass. Will the nuke launch? Will it launch? No, it won't. You could have made the nuke last a little bit longer had you launched it earlier. But there it goes. You got to launch it. It's launching now. There it goes. It makes it out of the silo. Again, where's it going? It's going for this position, trying to take out the Colossi. Colossi going to walk right into it, and the nuke launcher is gone. Colossi might actually just avoid... they might avoid it. We'll see. Might... it's going to land right next to one Colossi, but it isn't going to kill it off. And that is it here for Team 1. Mad Lord going for cloaking, but it doesn't matter now. His satellites are being taken out, and he just control Ks. Seeing that the game is over, that leaves Nagel, the last remaining player on Team 1. Where is his commander? Over here? No, he's not over there. Where is he? He was over there at some point, and then he disappeared. Where is that comm? Oh, he's over here, to the west. He drops down here, tried to go after Team 2's Rampur, but that doesn't work. And he's not going to make it out of there, unfortunately. Missile tries to launch a missile. That doesn't go anywhere. Actually hits the shielding. Again, tries to launch the missile. Doesn't go anywhere. Otham's going to just come and kill him off. And that is the last player on team 1. Actually, the chicken might... Oh, chicken or Autumn gets the kill for that. And that is the game, folks, at 54 minutes and 36 seconds. Team 2 wins the game. And let's talk about MVPs and MUPs. I feel like MVP of the game might just go to Artifacts. The ton of income, the YOLO-like loading of a Liberator, T3, strategic missile launcher, multiple artillery, Scathis. Second Scathis was almost done as well. We had Rampur with his ASF as well, definitely assisted in the air game. We had also Supforic with his dual artillery base. This Team 1 was being crushed to death by all of that oppressive firepower. And I think Artifacts just shoved it down their throats. Let me know down in the comments how you felt about the game. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know, of course, how you felt about the game and in general, overall, not just who won the game or my pick for MVP. Share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets. Again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see all of you in the next one.